Every empire has its greatest rival. Rome had Carthage, Coke had Pepsi. But in the world of technology, the battlefield was owned by two names, Apple and Microsoft. This isn't just the story of two companies. It's the story of betrayal, revenge, collapse, and one of the greatest corporate comebacks in history. It all began in a garage. The year is 1976. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne build the first Apple computer in Jobs' garage. At the very same time, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a young Harvard dropout named Bill Gates is working on basic software for a small company called Microsoft. Two men, two visions, both determined to change the world. Jobs was a visionary. Gates was a strategist. Jobs wanted to design beautiful machines. Gates wanted to put software into every home and office. For a moment, destiny brought them together. In 1981, IBM launched its personal computer. They needed software. Microsoft delivered MS-DOS. Almost overnight, Gates became the kingmaker of the PC industry. Apple, meanwhile, was developing something revolutionary, the Macintosh, a computer with a graphical interface, icons, and a mouse. It looked like the future, and Jobs wanted Microsoft on board. Gates agreed. Microsoft wrote software for the Mac. But behind closed doors, Gates was working on something shocking. Just 1 year later, Microsoft released Windows, and it looked strikingly similar to Apple's creation. Jobs were furious. He accused Gates of theft. But Gates calmly replied with one of the most legendary lines in business history. "Well, Steve, I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox, and I broke into his house to steal the TV set, and you broke in to steal it too, but I broke in first." It was the start of a war that would last decades. By the 1990s, the war looked one-sided. Windows was everywhere, on 90% of the world's computers. Microsoft wasn't just a company, it was a monopoly. Bill Gates became the richest man alive. Apple, meanwhile, was crumbling. Internal power struggles forced Steve Jobs out. Without him, Apple made blunder after blunder. The Newton failed, products flopped, losses piled up. By 1997, Apple was weeks away from bankruptcy. The war seemed over. Microsoft had won. Or so it seemed. In a twist no one saw coming, Apple bought a small company called Next, and with it, Steve Jobs returned. What happened next is considered the greatest comeback in corporate history. Jobs streamlined Apple's messy product line and unveiled the iMac. Colorful, simple, cool, a computer that felt alive. But Jobs wasn't done. The iPod, iTunes, and eventually, the iPhone. Each product shattered industries. And while Apple was reinventing consumer technology, Microsoft was stuck defending Windows. For the first time, Gates was on the back foot. But here's the twist most people forget. In 1997, when Apple was dying, it was Microsoft, yes, Microsoft, that saved them. Gates invested $150 million into Apple. He even appeared on a giant screen at Macworld, announcing the deal as Jobs smiled uncomfortably. The crowd booed. The rivals had become temporary allies, a bizarre moment in tech history. Fast forward to today, Apple is worth more than $3 trillion. It dominates smartphones, wearables, and services. Microsoft. It reinvented itself under Satya Nadella, becoming a leader in enterprise software, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. Both are titans, both are survivors, and both are still fighting. This time, not for your desktop, but for your future. From AI assistants to augmented reality, The next chapter of this rivalry will decide who controls the technology that defines the 21st century. So who really won the greatest tech war? Was it Apple, the company that rose from the ashes to redefine culture? Or Microsoft, the company that still powers the backbone of the modern digital world? Maybe the answer is neither, because this war isn't over. In fact, it's only just beginning. This was the story of Apple versus Microsoft. Subscribe to Rise and Fall Chronicles and join us as we uncover the rivalries that changed the world.